Hey, baseball fans, welcome to Las Vegas again. It's time for another episode of the Vegas Nine, the Nine Ball. We're here coming again from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's another beautiful sunny day here. And without further ado, let's get to the Vegas Nine Ball. And I hope it brings you back to your youth. And our first card today is Sully Hemus, manager, St. Louis Cardinals. I remember he was a player for both the Phillies and the Cardinals. And after his career was over, he returned, I think originally as a player manager to the Cardinals, but then just as a manager. And I remember Bob Gibson really disliked him, said that he thought he was kind of racist toward him and Curt Flood. And I remember Bob Gibson quoting that he might have had 300 wins if it wasn't for Sully Hemus being his manager. He could put him in bad spots and held him back from using him in other spots because he thought he may be racist. Of course, Sully would deny this, but a very controversial figure in the 60s as manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. Our next card is Indians Future Stars. It's a 1980s Topps card. Larry Anderson, Bobby Seller, and Sandy Whittle. I never really heard of any of these guys except for Larry Anderson. Larry Anderson had a long career as a pitcher in baseball for several teams. The Astros, I remember him playing for, among other teams. But yeah, Indians Future Stars. Yeah, Larry Anderson, the best selling one here. There's another Future Stars card. George Frazier, Tommy Herr, and Dan O'Brien. George Frazier pitched for the Cubs for a while. I remember him. And Tommy Herr, of course, was a great all-star second baseman for the Cardinals for many years. And Dan O'Brien, I don't remember him. Yeah, George Frazier and Tom Herr. Rookie card. It's a nice-looking card. Two of these guys would have long big leagues careers. Frazier and Herr. We'll put them on the Cubs stand for George Frazier's time with the Cubs. Here's Dusty Baker and Dusty We Trusty, Cubs manager in the early 2000s, and a great player in his own right. In the 70s, here he is as the Dodgers. Looks like he's in a batting cage. He's even wearing his trademark sweatbands. He wore those as a manager as well. He always had the sweatbands on. Here he has him on as a player as well in the 70s. Nice looking Dusty Baker card. We'll put him on the stand. Here's a Frank Thomas, White Sox, Upper Deck, 1992. I think it's early in his career, maybe his rookie card. Second year, maybe. Yeah, nice looking White Sox. Big Hurt, Frank Thomas. He's a Las Vegas guy, the Big Hurt. So we'll put him on the stand here in front of Vegas Stiltskin. Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. Here's a Brian McRae. Of course, he's the son of the great Hal McRae. And here he's in action getting ready to hit. He was Royal to begin his career, but then he was traded to the Cubs. And I believe he was a switch hitter. Yeah, fastball, switch hitter. Here he is hitting left-handed. And good player. The Cubs in the mid-90s. We'll put him on the Cubs stand, Brian McRae. Here is a Tom Glavine Topps Chrome Platinum Players. I think this is like a reprint, early 2020s, I think. They put these out for the 70th, I believe, anniversary of Topps, some type of Topps, I guess. And yeah, it's a nice looking Tom Glavine. He was one of the best pitchers in the 90s. Top of the rotation guy. In those mid-90s teams with Maddox and Schmaltz, Glavine. Quite a triumphant. And Tom Glavine, we'll put him on the stand, Hall of Famer. Here's a Frank Tanana Gold Cup card. He was a good pitcher for several years in the big leagues with the Angels, and Tigers, I think, and This is a 1975 Topps Gold Cup card. And sharp looking card there. Two-tone, I like that. And Frank Tanana. And last but not least is Keith Moreland, 1990 score. Of course, Keith Moreland played with the Cubs for several years in the 80s before they dealt him, I think, originally to the Padres. But then here he is in the 1990s with the Orioles. Must have been toward the end of his career. He played all over, catcher, left field, designated hitter here for the Orioles, and had a good long career. Keith Moreland. So that'll end it for the day. Appreciate you watching. Hope I bring you back, and take care.